I'm sure they've hit each other on the ladder. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure they've hit each other plenty of times on the ladder. But when it comes to competitive play, this is the second time, the first time in 2 years. Oh my god. And here we go. After 2 long years. This player here in the bottom left-hand corner, he's been holding a grudge. He told me himself for 2 long years. He's like, this pinche Darren, mate. He's gonna get it coming. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data C, we have the Brazilian Protoss player. He is red, representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is MasTeR. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have one of the old guard. We have the Mexican Terran player representing his old clan, Dust Gaming, and potentially representing Exotic Signet as well. I should probably ask him. It is Sinner. Here we go. It's been a long time coming, but the rematch is here on a new map pool, in a new era, in a new year, in a new meta, on a new patch. Everything is new, except for Sinner. And already we're popping off a little bit here. So MasTeR goes for a probe scout. He's denied entry into the main base, and this is a scary moment here for the Protoss, because Terran could be doing anything. Terran could be going for a 3 racks, which is kind of what's happening. He could be going for a CC on the high ground. It could be a normal opener, just keeping things hidden and keeping his opponent guessing. There could be a proxy on the map. There could be a second racks on the map, and it could be a 2 Reaper opening. So MasTeR is playing blind right now. As we can see, Sinner is looking to be the aggressor. Meanwhile, MasTeR just scouring a couple of portions of the map. We even see here with his probe, he checked the right and left hand sides, or his third base locations, just in case there was a proxy next to his own natural. So he's aware of the danger that he's in, and he's trying to cover his bases. He's trying to make sure he's as safe as possible. He goes in for a follow-up scout. He confirms a CC on the low ground, so he knows it's not a weird all-in. He also knows that there wasn't a CC on the high ground, which means there have to have been another production building in here. What exactly? He's not too sure, but the first Reaper does reveal itself, and we'll take out the probe. Oh boy, as we can see, the Reapers are kind of piling up a little bit here. They're going to be going across the map to deal some of that economic damage. MasTeR didn't try to wall off the Reaper cliff, so there is a clear path into that main base. Looking at his overall building placement as well, he isn't set up to block off behind his mineral line or anything like that either. He does have a patrolling adept, but 1 adept is not enough to stop 3 Reapers. Ooh, nice target fire though. 1 Reaper already going down after only getting a single probe. The adept does zone all of this back, and MasTeR actually defends with a single adept and only loses 1 worker. Very nicely done. And Sinner, this opener just hasn't really been worth it so far. What's scary about this is that Sinner's opener meant that he delayed his natural. It meant that he delayed his factory, delayed everything else. He needs to try and do something with it. And so far, he honestly hasn't done anything. If he tries to go up this ramp, another Reaper goes down. He will at least get some scouting information with this Reaper. He tries to dip in, and he does confirm the Stargate, does force the Oracle to use its Pulsar Beam at home as well, and we already have turrets on the way. So Sinner, he's going to be prepared, and he shouldn't lose too much to this Oracle. I believe that MasTeR also used the Pulsar Beam because the Stargate was scattered earlier, so I mean, it's the likelihood of him dealing damage is pretty low. As would be expected, Sinner is prepared. But what's more important is that MasTeR is able to get a full scout of the main base as well. I'll get a bit of a scout. Looking at his vision, he confirms the 3 racks. He confirms that Sinner is going to be hyper aggressive. He's going to be pushing out across the map with an insane amount of bio. And we've seen a couple of different responses to this. The one good thing is that we don't have any more Stargate production. Oracles and Phoenixes are not really what we want right now. We do have 2 of them to harass, and some stasis traps can be good, but again, we don't want to overinvest in them. Meanwhile, the Adepts do commit to the Shade into the natural. They get 2 SCVs for their trouble before getting targeted down. Not really worth it. It was unlucky for MasTeR that Sinner was waiting for him there in the natural base. Army is moving out and the Oracles do miss the move outs. They won't get the revelation, but there we go. They confirmed that the bunker has been salvaged. They confirmed that the Marines were in the middle of moving out, so MasTeR can assume that the rest of the army is somewhere on the map. Right now he is trying to be as vigilant as possible, looking for it. Meanwhile, MasTeR expanding and taking a third base behind this. This is honestly a pretty greedy move, to be honest, and Stasis Trap is not gonna finish. Ooh, here we go. We have to be very conservative with our stim. We see our first stim moving on forward. He does focus on 1, 2, almost 3 Stalkers. Only 2 for his troubles, and that's all he can find. Oh my god. 2 Stalkers for 7 Marines, not ideal, not gonna lie. The third base is gonna get up and running with Blink as well. MasTeR should be fine at home, and oh my god, the intercept is not real. Just another tag on the army, and the Oracles also confirm another thing that's pretty crucial. There's a third base, so he knows that Sinner isn't going for a 2-base all-in. MasTeR knows that he doesn't have to overinvest in army right now. He can focus on his production, on his upgrades, on his tech. MasTeR is good to chill at home. Meanwhile, Sinner still just focusing on his bio production. I'm curious to see when he throws down, or if he ever throws down, a factory. Oh, sorry, I believe he has. There we go. Factory and starport hidden behind the natural base. I love it. Being very cheeky. And with that, the first wave of medevacs are on the way. But can Sinner really get underway with his medevac production? Because Blink is done, the Stalkers are here, there's no bunker, there's no tank. These Stalkers can kind of have their way with this bio army. They even force out a stim. And every single stim is hurting right now because of the lack of medevacs. We do lose 1 Stalker, but MasTeR is just gonna rotate back in. Another handful of Marines go down, another tag on the army. Medevacs have finally shown up, they reveal themselves. And we do see Sinner trying to catch and sandwich the army a little bit here, and he's going to be able to get a lot of Stalkers. Oh my god. Very nicely done. He needed a win like this. Very nice catch. 12 Stalkers go down in total. That was a bit of a mistake from MasTeR, a little bit of an issue there with his army movements, and now with that, Sinner takes a bit of a supply lead. God, but MasTeR's economy just won't slow down. We have a 4th Nexi on the way. Robot production is commencing for that splash damage, whether it's for Colossi or Disruptors. Well, I'm sure one of them is going to be on the way. Do we even need them? Because charge has completed, I believe, +1. Yes, +1 armor is done for our Protoss player as well. And you have to respect these charge ults. Without EMP, without Widow Mines, without tanks, without some kind of splash damage in some way, shape, or form, this is scary. Charge ults are terrifying, let me tell you. Thankfully, Widowmine production has commenced. We even have a Ghost Academy on the way, so Sinner, he is keeping up quite well with his bio, with his overall tech. He's getting a 4th base as well. I just worry a little bit. He has to be very careful with how he uses this army. It's very delicate right now. He just finished his Ghost Academy. He's not moving out with any EMPs. He's being pretty risky right now. Here we go, the army gets tagged, so MasTeR, he can rotate and keep up with the army as well. Sinner forced to back off. Just going to be dipping in and confirming that the base has been taken. Confirming that MasTeR is on 4 bases, not the 5th being taken here on the bottom right hand corner of the map. And now that the revelation is run out, he's going for a bit of a doom drop. Oh my god, but this gets spotted as well. MasTeR does have control of the watchtower, so Sinner's having a hard time being mobile. He's having a hard time dealing any damage with his army, once again getting tagged. And the scary thing is, now MasTeR has lived long enough to where his 4th base is fully saturated and up and running. he has not just one, but 2 robos done. Double Colossus production is on the way. We are lacking extended thermal lance, but we may not even need it. As we see a massive stint forward here from Sinner, picking up a couple of units. Still no Ghost with this army. The Ghosts are being left at home. He's just coming in with Marines, Marauders, and Mines. I also just realized there's 1 Ghost with the army. There we go. 3 more Ghosts are on the way. Sinner is going to back off in the end. Just going to leave 1 Widowmine out in the middle of the map just to see if he can find any free damage scans. Sees no 5th base, but there is a 5th base. It's just over on the left-hand side. A little bit cheeky, a little bit unexpected here from MasTeR. He may get away with this base because of it. We'll see as he's trying to set up a little bit of multi-prone harassment. Zealot Force here towards the south, Oracles towards the north. And both players have reached a point where they are maxed. There's one kind of major tech path that's still on the way for Sinner, and we can see that here, and that is the Fusion Core is on the way for Lib Range. Liberators changed everything. Unfortunately, we don't have any Liberators yet. Liberators, of course, they help zone out the Colossus, the Disruptors, everything. And they force a transition into Skytoss from the Protoss. Or they usually force a transition. Unfortunately, even though Sinner's setting up for that sort of thing, it looks like he's going to max out without them. And it's going to be a little bit of a scary moment here for him. It just means that his army is that much more vulnerable until he can get them up and running. As the first Liberators on the way. Meanwhile, this observer is so important for MasTeR. He just has eyes on all the army movement here of Sinner. He's able to keep up in kind. There we go, another Oracle, another... I was about to say Revelation, but we don't quite get it. Not enough energy. Oh, as the Oracle gets focused down, and here we go. Sinner is maxed. He wants to trade in some way, shape, or form. He does so by losing 2 medevacs. So there we go. The EMP does connect there with those Stalkers. First Nova whiffs, doesn't connect with the army. More Liberators on the way behind this. Lib Range being researched as well. And Sinner just has to dance. That's all he had. He doesn't have to commit. Just dance with the army. Trade as best he can. He scans again. He still doesn't see the 5th. Ah! Sinner, please. Okay, cool. Thank God. Checking his vision, he has seen the 5th base. Thankfully, he was looking for a stick. My bad. My mistake. Unfortunately, this 5th base is being heavily fortified, and the 6th is actually on the way here in the top left. We're seeing the map being split up in a very interesting position, or in a very interesting way. Here we go, Sinner taking his own 5th here towards the right-hand side. I feel like usually you see the map split horizontally, but instead it's being split vertically. Interesting. Liberators are coming on out. Meanwhile, we see a massive army here looking to head towards that 5th base of Sinner. Bit of a Zealot army here towards the northern side. There's only a single Widowmine to defend and a Planetary. Oh, and we'll see if Sinner's going to be split up here. We do see a decent EMP on those Colossus, but the Disruptor shot was even better. They're connecting on the Ghosts. And that transition is happening as Liberators are coming out. I don't know if you noticed, but MasTeR did get a Fleet Beacon. And it looks like the 5th base is going to be going down. Another Nova zones out the army. It doesn't just zone, it connects with the Marauders. 6 libs are on. Jesus, that's a lot of libs. 6 Liberators being produced at a time. In the end, Sinner has to go up the 5th base. He's going to be expanding here towards the north. And no, he's not quite. I was like, I saw a CC on the way. It is a Planetary. Instead, he's just fortifying his 4th base. And I'm worried that MasTeR may be committing a little bit too much to the ground here. Like, again, he has a Fleet Beacon, he has 1 Stargate, he hasn't started more though, and with this mass amount of Liberators, suddenly the pendulum swings in favor of the Terran. Or it should if he gets a siege. we go with my shot going off. Sinner going to be setting up here. Doesn't go for it yet. Looking for the ideal engagement. Oh no! Oh, another Nova goes off. Another couple of Novas actually missing the Terran army. But the connections may just be enough. Sinner going to be able to chase down the majority, if not every single one of these disruptors, but he doesn't have enough to keep pushing. Sure, he took out all the Colossus and disruptors, which is impressive. But what about the Gateway army? Go Liberators being set on up, but with the mass amount of charge outs and stalkers, just the swarm toss is just too much. Liberators are great against these like high impact units, but not so much against charge outs and zealots. They chase everything all the way back home. And Sinner is sticking with the libs. He's not stopping. We go 5th base on the way. Mothership coming out for MasTeR. Now we know what the fleet beacon was for. Minus 400, minus 400. He's doubling down on the ground toss. He's going for a Templar Archives. Going for Storm, going for Archons. And he's actually getting caught out a little bit here. Without the support of his Liberators, he can't take a fight. And because of the missed rally, half of the Bioforce gets taken out. Another couple of Liberators as well. Sinner just having a really awkward time engaging here between his bases. Again, another missed rally. The problem is that he just can't afford to lose bio units like this, like a little bit needlessly, because he still doesn't have his 5th base saturated. Here we go, Liberators just dive on top of the Protoss army, once again sieging Liberation Zones on top of everything, but there just aren't enough libs, and there just isn't enough support on the ground. With the blink on forward, it looks like the rest of the Terran army is going to be going down. With the reinforcing Marauders, MasTeR can't break through. Yo, how is Sinner holding on? Oh my god. Is he? That's the question. He's bleeding so much. And with the reinforcing wave of Zealots, it may just be too much here. MasTeR may have broken our Terran player. 6 more leaps on the way. Liberators have their place, but again, like, we need more mines. We need more bio. Mines, I think just mainly mines, really. EMP, but here we go. I think with the help of all these Liberators, like, because we have so many being pumped out at once, it looks like Sinner is going to be able to hold on. And with him holding on, I have to wonder, +3 air attack is on the way. Jesus Christ. +3 air attack is on the way as well, which will help out the Liberators. He's still making 6 libs, by the way. Like, we have 13. We're about to have 20 Liberators. 20. I think we have enough, buddy. I don't know, man. Look, man, Sinner just wants to bring freedom to all the Protoss, okay? To MasTeR, to Protoss, to Brazil. Ay. Meanwhile, MasTeR just mass expanding. Here we go. Liberators are finally being used to harass across the map. And with lib range, it's going to be difficult to deal with some of these, especially here towards the south. And now MasTeR's being pulled apart. His entire army comes back home, and that gives an opening, that gives an opportunity for Sinner to push in. He has the high ground. He has the lib zones. So many liberation zones. Does he have the scans? We don't see a mass amount of orbitals here. And with the help of this mothership, I mean, that could work out for MasTeR. Here we go. He's trying to sneak on in. There is that scan. But are there enough liberation zones? Is there enough bio? It looks like Sinner, he's just not going to even try to fight this. He's going to just try to dive on in and get more economic damage. 16 probes are going to be going down. He's trying to get the hell out of here. Ah. Oh, they could deny +3 shields, so he will deny +3 shields actually. Pretty huge. But Sinner lost a lot of supply in doing so. I say that, but there's actually very little mining happening for MasTeR. Here we go, MasTeR. It looks like he may be all in. Sinner just has to hold on, and with all these Liberators, he will. The 5th and 6th base is just not being mined from. MasTeR trying to go back to mining here, but the entire army has to rotate over just to deal with one Liberator. No mining here at the 3rd either. And I think Sinner's done it. It's been a long and grueling fight. It hasn't been pretty. It hasn't been easy. I honestly didn't believe in the mass Liberators, and I don't think we ever saw Sinner really deal with the mass Gateway army. But because of how mobile he is, he never had to. He would always have these defensive positions where MasTeR wouldn't be prone to pushing on in. We saw him just try to outmaneuver the army and just dive into all these mineral lines and just get into all these bases. It's been interesting. It's not over yet though. It's not over yet. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. Can MasTeR... It's gonna be like, can MasTeR get up this ramp before the siege happens? He doesn't go for it in the end. He was thinking about it. Sinner taking a base towards the bottom right. No mining here towards the top left once again. Just make some tempest, papi. Just make some tempest. Liberators pulling apart a lot of those stalkers. Meanwhile, we see a stim here by Sin. Oh god, no! Oh, we see a stim on forward, but a massive Nova does connect with the majority of those Marines. Oof. And it's things like that which mean that MasTer's still in this, you know? All it takes is a couple of Novas. Oh, this is dirty. Couple of Marines steaming on forward, getting more probes here at the 4th base. Liberators, oh, bit of an old army hockey. Liberators are gonna get sniped here towards the top left. Wait, with so many charged archons, I just want ghosts, puppy. That's all I want. I just want ghosts. Meanwhile, the Liberators, yo, with our anti-air attacks, try to take down the mothership. Something you don't see too often. Oh my god, Sinner's doing what he does best. The wall of turrets is here. And MasTeR, oh, almost decides to commit there. Playing with fire, Poppy, playing with fire. Ah. Trying to find another way, and is going to catch a base here towards the south. Does have the high ground as well, bear that in mind. Ooh, SCV is being misrouted as well. Both players have to be so careful with how they engage, bearing in mind that because of all the harassment earlier, like MasTeR doesn't really have a bank. If he loses a little bit too much too quickly, he won't be able to rebuild. Meanwhile, we see a recall here towards the top left. Bit of an over-exaggeration, I feel. I know we need that. May need the recall later. Oh, God. The freedom is real. Do we have any ghosts with this army? Just quickly checking. No, we have 0 ghosts right now. Like, EMPs would be so amazing against what MasTeR has. But Sinner, he just wants libs, okay? He just wants freedom. That's all he wants. I keep calling him the Mexican Terran. Maybe he's American. I don't know. Oh my god, the 16 libs. 18 lives even. There we go. MasTeR's trying to find a way in. Liberation Zone's going to be pushing him towards the northern side. Zoning him out. Trying to zone him out. And mate, Sinner, he's listening to the stream. Ghosts are coming out. They're on the way, puppy. They're on the way. As MasTeR once again rotating towards the south. And yeah, these planetaries are just not going to be able to finish up here. Oof. Like, Sinner, he's been trying to take another base for quite some time. Like, he has bottom left, which is pretty important, but he needs another one soon. He just hasn't been able to get it. Meanwhile, MasTeR, because of his own aggression, like, he's been able to get these bases up. I should say he's been able to get bases up, but he hasn't really been able to mine either. Boy. Here we go. MasTeR, actually, he's had enough. He's diving on in. Oh, and it looks like he's going to be able to take down every single one of these Liberators. The Bio Army just wasn't in position fast enough. Both players come out bruised, but I feel like MasTeR had a bit of a more efficient trade there. The Lib count was reset. And Libs are really the only thing keeping MasTeR back. Without the Liberators, he can just push in. There's nothing stopping him. More Novas are going off left and right. EMP does connect with the charge lots, with some of the Archons. But again, he can just break through. Doesn't even matter. With no Liberators, there's nothing stopping him. There's nothing stopping. Aye. And Sinner, he's being forced onto MasTeR's side of the map. I mean, Sinner is trying to buy time, to be fair. Like, he has more Liberators on the way, more Ghosts, more of everything. And he is forcing MasTeR to chase him. So, honestly, this isn't too much of a bad move. He even dives on top of the mothership. Isn't going to get it in the end. God, as he just stims himself to death. And this is going to be his last hurrah here. He did get a decent amount of Liberators up and running. His Planetary is going to be helping out as well. Does land one of those EMPs, but there's just not enough fire. There's just not enough firepower. Oh, GG gets called. And MasTeR, after 28 minutes. Who needs Skytos? We had a mothership, I guess. But GG, well played. MasTeR takes it. He takes game number 1. What did we just watch? Liberators are good. They're amazing. But as we saw, like, Liberators were the only thing keeping MasTeR back. Like, we were lacking so much when it came to Ghosts to support them for EMPs, when it comes to Widowmines as well, more than just Marine Marauder. Because as we saw, like, MasTeR didn't care about the Marine Marauder, you know? Like, when the Libs were gone, like, he could A-move, essentially. He could just A-move to his heart's content. GG. GG, well played. Yeah, it was really cool to see the map split up the way that it was as well. We don't see that too often. And there were moments there where I thought Sinner was just going to take the game entirely. But we saw that he really struggled when it came to taking bases. We saw that as he was trying to cut the map in half with planetaries and with missile turrets, MasTeR just didn't let him. He was just in his face constantly, making sure the turrets wouldn't finish, making sure the planetaries wouldn't finish either. Sinner wanted to turtle, but MasTeR was just doing, yeah, such a great job at just denying that. GG, well played. And after that, we are getting into game number 2. Oh boy. Aye. Here we go. We can hear the beeps. We're getting into that second game. It's going to be on Tropical Sacrifice. Before we get into this, though, do we have any other updates? We do. we have another Brazilian player waiting for the winner of this series. The Zerg Lord is currently chilling in the chat, I imagine, and watching these two go at it. We go spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice. We have our Brazilian Protoss player. He is red, representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is MasTeR. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice, we have the Mexican Terran player trying as hard as he could to turtle up in that first game. Can he do it in game 2? Are we going to have another 30-minute game? I hope not. It is Sinner. Oh. Here we go again. The student has become the master. Get it? I apologize. As MasTeR does take the first game in this series, we'll see if he can take the entire series here against Sinner. I mean, game 1 wasn't easy for him. I will say that. He had to work pretty hard. Sinner had his own moments in the sun where he was kind of harassing all over the place. So Liberators denying so much mining, taking down so many probes of MasTeR. It was a hard-fought battle. It was a pretty intense series overall. Intense game, I should say. But it did feel like Sinner was lacking in a couple of aspects. Like there were certain things that were missing a little bit. And maybe he's used to like memeing on people with MasLib and it just works. But again, against someone like MasTeR, you do need a little bit more finesse. You do need a little bit more to your army if you want to take down a player of the caliber of MasTeR. Oh boy. We'll see. We'll see how Sinner approaches this. Fun fact, I have seen Sinner play mech against Protoss before. Like it's within his repertoire. Like he can do it if he wants to. I'm not saying it's gonna work, but it's possible. It's possible. Like winding everything back, bearing in mind that game 1 did begin with a 3 racks. It actually began with a 2 racks opener, and he had his CC delayed. But this game, we have our CC on location on the low ground. We have a much more economic opener by Sinner, which I think is really smart, especially because in game 1, if you remember, he really struggled to deal damage early on with his first couple of Reapers. Meanwhile, Bunker is on the way, but that SCV is 1 hit away from going down, so it doesn't look like the Bunker is going to finish. Sinner was trying to be a little bit cheeky, but MasTeR was wise to it. Bunker is going to be forced to be cancelled, and oh, actually going to be a little bit annoying here, going to force a little bit of inefficient mining. Okay, not bad, not bad. Reaper going to try and dip one in as well. Meanwhile, back at home, Sinner trying to be as defensive as possible. What's important is that Sinner hasn't really been able to I was going to be like, hasn't been able to dip into the main, but he was able to dip in earlier. He did confirm the Stargate, so he should be getting ready for that Oracle. Alright, here we go. Sinner once again dipping into the main base. I'm sure he wants to confirm whether it's an Oracle or a Phoenix, and how many Oracles are going to be coming out. Almost gets a it does get a probe, and does force the Pulsar Beam at home. Isn't able to see whether or not there's a second unit coming out though, as there wasn't anything in production. And back at home, he's not going to be relying on missile turrets. Instead, he has Marines in the main and a Widow Mine at the natural. Oh boy, we'll see how much damage MasTeR can get done. Another Widow Mine gets on. No! MasTeR gets baited into the Widow Mine. Oracle goes down immediately without dealing any damage whatsoever. So a great start so far by Sinner, but in come 3 Adepts. We do have 1 Widow Mine here in the mineral line, but 1 mine is not going to be enough. But does take down 1 of the Adepts. So again, the mines so far, the positioning from Sinner has been insane, and it looks like it's going to be enough to force MasTeR back. Oh my god. I was wondering, where were those Marines, by the way? Why were they not at home to defend? Well, it's because Sinner is just zooming across the map immediately. Like, he knows he took down the Oracle, he took down the Adept as well. The aggression has been stifled for the time being. Now Sinner is getting into the main. Oh, I love it. We even have a mine here across the map as well. Zero mining going on here in the main base of MasTeR. A couple of Stalkers are going to roll on in, but they do not have Blink. Ooh, so the Stalkers go down immediately, or one at least. Meanwhile, as we can see, MasTeR, he doesn't really intend to macro from here. He does have a proxy gateway on the map. Ooh, but he throws down a third. Maybe because his timing was disrupted because of this drop, because of his economy, he may not be too confident in just ramping up that aggression, so gonna be taking a third instead. Oh boy. Here we go. I mean, in total, we do have 4 gateways from MasTeR, and Blink is about to finish, so even though he's taking a third behind this, like, he may still try to end the game with nothing but Blink Stalkers. This Banshee, honestly, is going to be pretty crucial, not when it comes to dealing damage, but it looks like it is going to just stumble across that proxy. Oh my god, check, puppy, check! Check! Ah! Looks like MasTeR did have eyes on it, and he's going to be distracted here. There we go, the Banshee is going to be focused down. Oh, Revelation does get rid of its cloak, but the Stalkers have to go the long way around. They already used their blink. Oh, but the Banshee does fall in the end. Meanwhile, Drop goes back into the main base with these reinforcements, with this warp in. Yeah, it's going to be enough here to defend. And again, this all just bought time for Sinner. These Blink Stalkers are still in a pretty high number though, and I worry a little bit for Sinner as the Banshee barely survives. We do have a tank, we have a mass repair keeping everything alive. And Sinner will be able to hold on with the bare minimum amount of units. Oh, as we see a Blink going into the main base. Unfortunately, we only had 1 tank to defend. The tank was busy at the natural, not in the main base. And this is where things get a little bit out of control. The Stalkers, they pick up a couple of Marines, a couple of Marauders. Like, there's no staying power here for Sinner. Without tanks, the Stalkers are free to trade. Did end up losing a couple of Stalkers in the retreat, so Sinner gets a little bit of value there. Oh. Oh, I was scared for a moment. Someone gets a little bit of latency there. Just quickly checking. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I swear. And MasTeR, again, just doing a great job at containing Sinner, taking a 4th base behind this, working on charge. Very similar to last game, where he just focuses on his gateway army and eventually will look to transition into splash damage like your Colossus. And, yeah, Sinner, he's going to try and deal with this. He does stim on forward, but without the power of the tanks, I do worry a little bit. Looks like with 4 Marauders, with 5 Marauders, sorry, it is going to be enough there. Does force MasTeR back. And Sinner can finally get his third. Let's go. There we go. Sinner finally gets an idea of the saturation of the 3rd base. What's also important is that he also confirms that we don't have a 5th or a 6th gas taken for MasTeR. So he should recognize, okay, you're not going like very quickly into robo production, into splash damage production. It's all going to be in gateway units, mainly Zealots as well, to support for those Stalkers. So he can be free to drop like this. He knows that there's no high impact, high gas intensive units here to defend. Oh my god, how? But as that happens, the Oracle moves out and it does tag the drop, so MasTeR is going to be in position. I say he's going to be in position to defend. He actually wants to try and catch this drop. Uh-oh. And Sinner has no idea. The army reveals itself and Sinner's got to get the hell out of here. But I don't think there's a way out. He stims back, but he's being cornered right now. Meanwhile, the Blink Stalkers want to try and target down those medics. He already got one, gets a second, gets a third, and the entire drop does get cleaned up. See a bit of a double scan there by Sinner. You hate to see it. He wants to see whether or not there's a fourth base. He confirms the fourth base being saturated. Doesn't see the robotic spade, but does see the first robo. And this is a pretty rough moment here for Sinner. He knows there's pressure on him right now to deal damage, but he can't because he just lost 4 medevacs. So now he's forced to be a little bit more defensive instead. Ghosts are coming out, which will help. Like, he is rounding out his army very nicely, staying on Widow Mines a little bit longer. Oh my god. And he knows he still has a little bit of time before Colossus come out. Before Disruptors come out. But he just can't do anything. Once again, the Oracle, the Revelation, like MasTeR's playing with another Revelation. The Oracle finally goes down, but just MasTeR just sees the movement in its entirety, and he can just keep rotating. He can just keep containing Sinner here and keeping him at home. I also love that MasTeR, as soon as he lost the Oracle, he's making another one. Like, he's just looking to constantly have an Oracle and have vision. He knows how important that is. Meanwhile, a bit of a zealot run back gets into the natural base. It looks like Sinner, he doesn't care anymore. He just wants to break on in. He's trying to force himself up the ramp. He does get a couple of crucial EMPs, but this is not the ramp we want to be pushing up. Ugh. Surprisingly, where are the shield batteries? Where's the overcharge as well? There's nothing here to protect this third base. But he may not need it because the Zealots are wreaking havoc here in the natural of Sinner. The Colossi are coming out as well. The Widow Mines, they all got triggered earlier. There's only a handful left, and okay, it looks like Sinner is maintaining a foothold here. There's no detection, so these Widow Mines, they're resetting. Oh my god. Until now, we have a Revelation. Half the Widow Mines get cleaned up. Sinner trying to find another way in. MasTeR expanding towards the north. Again, I'm just a little bit shocked that he hasn't thrown down shield batteries. Anywhere. What? There's MasTeR, do you know you're playing Protoss? There is 0 shield batteries at the third and the fourth and the natural. He's being so greedy right now, or needlessly risky. And with that, Sinner, he breaks on through. He is going to be able to get a kill on this Nexus, or at least kill the majority of the workers here. Goes for a massive Doom Drop into the main. And MasTeR's having a hard time keeping up. He didn't know where the army was. The Oracle was rebuilt, but he wasn't able to get that tag until now. And MasTeR, he just can't keep up. If he goes down the ramp, he's just going to run into these Widow Mines. Now even getting supply blocked. Sinner with so much momentum, he can keep on going, Papi. He can rotate over and take down the northern base as well. Where are the shield batteries? Couple more Widow Mines going down, and MasTeR's being punched a little bit right now. He doesn't have any detection. He doesn't want to make any detection. He's making nothing but disruptors. There's no observer. He hasn't rebuilt his Oracle either, so any kind of momentum that he had earlier, any kind of map presence, he just doesn't now. He's playing in the dark. He's playing blind. And Sinner, you give him an inch, he goes a mile, mate. He has a fourth base. He is now maxed out. He's looking to transition into Liberators. Fusion Core is on the way for Lib range. I was really worried for Sinner when he was pushing up this ramp. I'm just a little bit shocked by how well it went for him. I guess, again, the Colossi were a little bit late. Without a shield battery and without overcharge, MasTeR just had a really hard time defending this location. And it just goes to show that you can never count Sinner out. You know, he may be being contained. He may lose 4 full medevacs for free. Doesn't even matter, mate. Doesn't even matter. Here we go. 3-3 in production as well for Sinner. He's just not letting up on his upgrades. He finally has rotated here towards the north, canceling another base. What I will say is that, like, the army of MasTeR is still pretty terrifying just because of the disruptors. Like, he has been able to catch up in supply. And we've been here before. We were here in the first game where Sinner is maxed in a way, but not with the most ideal army. He has to trade. He has to get rid of a couple of units to get into libs. Into more libs. Maybe not as many as last game, but more libs nonetheless. Because this is terrifying. We got disruptors taking out a couple of units here and there, but MasTeR once again completely out of position, and it's almost as if like the roles have been reversed a little bit, and MasTeR is just having such a difficult time expanding. He can't even take the base here towards the south, the triangular third location, because the Widow Mines just keep killing the probes. He just cannot expand. Both armies do run into each other. Nova goes off, doesn't connect with anything. We've still got 4 more Novas behind this. So we want to be a little bit careful here. At the same time, Liberator going ham towards the north. 17 workers are going down. It distracts MasTeR just a little bit. And I think that was every single disruptor. There's one more left. Ugh, gonna be able to give MasTeR a little bit more time. But he is so desperate. Again, trying to expand towards his opponent. Any base will do here from MasTeR. He still hasn't cleaned up these mines. Mines have been the real MVP this game. Mines and libs. As the libs are coming out. 20 workers have gone down. It looks like MasTeR is 100% all in. He's given up on trying to expand, on trying to get his economy up and running. It's just not going to happen. He needs to just end the game here and now. Disruptors are going off. He's trying to force himself up the ramp into these liberation zones. He is kiting quite well, and these Colossi are doing so much to the Bio army. In the end, MasTeR's losing everything at home, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. Ooh, almost gets another lib. And he just can't break him. Like, it looks like MasTeR has been trading a little bit more efficiently, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He can't do it. Can't push into those Liberators. The Vikings take out another Colossus. Oh. As I say that, 11 more SCVs going down. The Liberators expose themselves. Sinner overextending a little bit here. I was about to say that MasTER's, he's got a choice. He can still turn around if he wanted to, but nah, mate. Ah, the workers! No, look away, Terran players, look away as 33, 37 SCVs go down. A single worker survived. No! Did I say 37? I meant to say 49. Meanwhile, MasTER is down to 1 base remaining. There is the recall. He knows how crucial this base is, and he's looking to save it, and he will. And now we're down to 1 base versus 1 base. I mean, Sinner has a couple of CCs, and they are floating around. He will be able to mule as well. Here we go. The rest of his army is coming across the map with the power of the Liberators. I believe that Sinner still has the advantage, but we've seen him overextend. We've seen him expose his Liberators a little bit too much, so MasTER can still take a fight. Oh, but this is not the fight to take, mate. The Novas are going off. They get some decent connections, but the Lib Zones, they're a little bit too much. GG gets called, and Sinner takes game number 2 and ties it up 1-1. Ah, GG. Oh my god. Ah, ay, ay, ay. MasTER using the tools, papi. I see Tavo in the chat. Funada Tavo for not showing up for today's tournament. Shaking my head, shaking my head. Tavo, you could have been here, papi. You could have been here. Aye, aye, aye. I love to see both Davo and the Zerglord in the chat. Yeah, and the Zerglord is waiting for the winner of this series, but we still don't know who it's going to be. Ugh. As we're tied up and we're going into game number 3. Love it, the Zerglord. I think I bit my tongue. Yeah, that was when Sinner overextended. Ah! I'm just watching the barbecue when 49 SCVs go down. Oh my god. And yeah, after a wild game, sorry, I was distracted watching the replay. Like, it was mesmerizing. But after a wild game number 2, Sinner ties it up. It wasn't easy, don't get me wrong, but we saw that again, once Sinner got a little momentum going his way, like, he just made it impossible for MasTeR to expand, impossible for MasTeR to take another base, whether it was to the north or the south. Once the Oracles had died, MasTeR just had very little to no map vision or map presence, so he was just being pulled apart time and time again. So yeah, that was just again a very intense game, very intense. And speaking of intense, here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have our Brazilian Protoss player representing Amantes de StarCraft. It is MasTeR. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have our Mexican Terran. Ooh, representing his old clan from back in the day, Dust Gaming, it is Sinner. Oh wait. Let's pretend we didn't see that. For a moment, for a very real moment, I thought that Sinner was gonna stack and pull the boys. I was like, what's happening? Okay. He has not lost his mind. It's okay. It's okay. Oh god, everything is fine. Everything is fine. Oh my god. Hold on. Exclamation mark for nada at Davo. The tournament is every week at the same time. SMH. Oh my god. Este Davo, mate. Este Davo. Alright, here we go. We're getting into our game, and once again, there's some relatively standard openers. We have a little bit of worker on worker action here. Up. Sinner coming out on top, forcing MasTeR back. Just being a little bit annoying, and Sinner will lose his SCV as a result. Ugh, feels bad, man. But a couple of interesting things happened here. One, MasTeR got into the main and he was able to get a full scout off, and he confirms that Sinner is going for a more one base opener. There is no CC on the low ground. It was a Rax into factory. This was all seen by MasTeR, by the way. He's fully aware. Oh, so he knows that again he has to be a little bit more defensive here to begin with. We already have a Stalker in production, not an Adept. And we'll see if MasTeR can prepare for this. I mean, I'm really curious. This looks like, I imagine, a Hellion opener if we see an add-on switch. Yeah, not even an add-on switch, but with Hellions and with Reapers, Sinner is going to be looking to just bust in, get through the natural base, and get into a mineral line and focus down some workers. I do worry just because MasTeR did already see the opener for the most part. It can be difficult to distinguish whether this is happening or whether it's, I don't know, like a weird committed 1/1/1 Widowmine drop or something weird like that. So MasTeR is still guessing a little bit. There's a reason why he's, you know, splitting up his forces. He's trying to cover all his bases. I also worry because I don't think I like this on Cosmic Sapphire. Why? Because Cosmic Sapphire takes 2 buildings to wall off. Like, walling off is is as easy as it can be on Cosmic Sapphire of all maps. We even have a probe here, just in case Hellions and Reapers show up, then MasTeR is ready to wall off as well. So MasTeR is reading the situation incredibly well, and on top of that, I also don't think that this is a great build on Cosmic. Great opener, I should say. But we'll see. Maybe Sinner can pull something off, as he is going to be rushing across the map. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to the reaction time of MasTeR. He's going to be moving out with his probe. He's going to spot the army, and he doesn't have anything behind the Stalker. Bearing in mind, this was a robo opener as well. Here we go. The army is rocking on up. MasTeR recognizes it, and he will wall off. Oh, but a pilot doesn't have a lot of HP, and it gets focused down. MasTeR being a little bit lax there with his defense. Half of the army does slip into the main base. Stalker focuses down the Hellion, but the Reapers are here. They're going to be focusing down as many probes as they can. On top of that, he also gets a full scout, confirming the robo, confirming the Twilight Council. 5 probes do end up going down. 5, 6, 7. Can we get 8? We'll stick with 7. 7 probes isn't the worst. 9. Oh my god. Can you get another? 9 probes in total, as 2 of them were across the map earlier. But the downside is that we are relinquishing map control, and we're also going across the map. The Stalkers, we're going, mate. It is a 4-gate opener. What's important is that this was all scouted by Sinner. Like, Sinner is fully aware and he's preparing at home. There we go. We have 1 tank on the low ground. We're going to have 1 tank on the high ground. Bunkers are feeling a little bit late, but they're on the way nonetheless. Sinner knows that a counterattack is on the way, but is he going to be prepared for it? Siege, puppy, siege. There we go. He does siege up in time. No bunker in the main. A little bit greedy here from Sinner. Oh, we see the blink on forward. Tank goes down immediately, and just like that, there's no staying power here at the natural base. We do have another tank coming down, but with the help of Blink, with the help of this War Prism as well, MasTeR's not going to be losing much at all. See a bit of a scan. Questionable scan here from Sinner, trying to confirm whether or not he needs to rotate up with his tank, bearing in mind that because he lost his first one, he has to come all the way down, and now he's out of position. Uh-oh. Again, no bunker, no tank in the main, and MasTeR is just gonna blink on in. Not like this, Sinner, not like this. The army's exposed. Not just the army, we see a force field on the ramp as well. The tank is too thick and can't get through. Oh, yeah, the boys are being pulled, and Sinner's just going to be losing too much here. Stim is exposed as well if MasTeR wants to try and deny that. But right now, he's content with just workers, and it doesn't matter if Stim finishes if there aren't any Marines to Stim. Again, unfortunately, Sinner missing the rotation. Again, unfortunately, Sinner not defending his main base as well as he could have without any bunkers, without any tanks. Main base is completely forfeit. Against him, it looks like it will end up finishing, but MasTeR's already dealt more than enough damage. He's taking a 3rd base behind this. Oh, we see another Stim forward. Sinner's trying to fight his heart out, trying to fight as hard as he can, but GG gets called, and MasTeR takes it 2-1. MasTeR, after 2 long years of waiting, of biding his time, he's gotten his revenge. I pressed the wrong button. Hold on. There we go. I see that with the este pinche tabo. Imagine if Sinner tried to practice StarCraft. That's the thing, right? I was talking about this earlier today. Sinner is an amazing player. He's beautiful. He's amazing. But he only plays 2v2s. If he focused on 1v1, if he focused on laddering, on 1v1 practice, he could be amazing. But GG, well played, MasTeR. He defends against the Hellion Reaper opening quite well. Things were looking a little bit scary when he walled off with a pylon and when the pylon got focused down, but he was going for a 4-gate opener. He was going for an aggressive opener himself, and unfortunately, Sinner wasn't prepared for that counterattack. He was trying to. Like, we saw him prioritize his tanks. He knew that he was in danger, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to muster defense up quite well enough, quite in time. GG gets called. MasTeR moves on to the next round. MasTeR moves on to face the Zerg Lord, who's in the chat. Hello, the Zerg Lord. Fala galera! Fala galera, papi, as we are going to get into some Brazilian on Brazilian action. Oh my.